Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Friday, February 21st, and the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 5 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. The spirit guidance for today is the whale energy in the reversal position. In the upright position, the whale always brings me to emotional stability. It brings me to patience when it comes to our emotions. And seeing it come out in the reversal position today brings me to emotional instability. And when I look at the day overall, say the day is ruled by Venus, because today's Friday and Friday is associated with Venusian energy. But then also too, Mercury has a strong influence in the day because the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 5 vibration. And with the number 5 energy having a big influence over the day, it brings me to sudden and unexpected changes. And with the whale energy coming out in the reversal position, it'll bring me to sudden and unexpected changes happening in the day in results of emotions. But I personally feel like it's because of emotions that we are not facing, things that we're choosing not to see or choosing not to feel. So because we're choosing not to feel certain things, instead we'll find ways to distract ourselves from ourselves. And normally it doesn't result with positive endings. Normally it's chaotic, it's a waste of energy, it's a waste of time. Also too, when it comes to today's energy, something about multitasking, but we're not multitasking in certain cases. When we find ourselves multitasking, it's like we're half doing something that I learned growing up that was like, it was like within the household, it was driven home, and it's whenever you're doing something, do it good the first time or don't do it at all. And I feel like that's something that, you know, me and all my brothers, it plays a part in whenever we go out into the world and we're doing whatever it is that we're doing. It's like, you know, because as a kid, like if you were to say wash the dishes and you left food in the drain, you got to get up and clean that drain out. Like if you're going to wash dishes, you don't wash dishes and leave the sink messy or dirty. Like everything needs to be done properly if you're going to do it. So if you're going to do it right or don't do it at all. And today feels like that kind of energy where we find ourselves, in some of us, we find ourselves doing something and we half did it. And it wasn't intentional that we half did it. It's almost like there's something around doing it under the influence. And when I say doing it under the influence, maybe in the process of trying to ignore our emotions when it comes to certain things. And I keep saying ignore our emotions, and it makes sense. We have the moon. We have the moon in Sag. And whenever the moon is in Sag, for me, or say if a person has moon in their Sag within their chart, I find a lot of the times this person, and this doesn't go for everyone, but I find a lot of the times that this person will have a hard time spending time with mom for too long, or if they are in the presence with mom, unless there's other energies supporting the presence, supporting being in the presence of mom or the family or the home, or if they're in these environments, they're doing something that mentally takes them away. So they're present, but they're not present, or if they're present, it's not for long. And I feel like, you know, I think of when I think of like the archer, the bow and arrow, the symbolic to Sagittarius energy. And when you're pulling it, it's always away from you. So whatever is in Sag or wherever Sag is, the focus is always on wherever it's facing and not where it's at. So with the moon and Sag, we're not focusing on our emotions. We don't want to feel them, don't want to deal with them. Instead, we'll find ourselves venturing out to do different things to not feel or deal with what's at home, what's happening within. And, you know, today's energy brings big emphasis to that. Something about not wanting to feel or deal with what's happening on the inside, what's happening at home, or what's happening with family or emotional type things. And in the process of us venturing out to focus on other things, we could find ourselves running into, you know, unnecessary challenges. You know, it's one of those days where it's hard to account for the time. Where did the time go today? What did I do with my time today? Or unexpected random things come up, and they appear to come up out of nowhere. And they appear to come up out of nowhere, but it's only because while you were focused over there, that was brewing over there. And by the time it brewed, and boom, you're dealing with you're dealing with the outcome of what happened. You are looking somewhere else. So it appeared to have come up on you from out of nowhere, but it wasn't from out of nowhere. It's just because of where your focus was. So when it comes to today's energy, it's almost like we have to work extra hard to bring our focus in on the things that are important. And when it comes to a day like this, I always encourage using some kind of a checklist or an alarm clock. And for me, I feel like I've always had energies like this within my chart, where I've always resonated with that Mercury monkey mind type of energy. And when it comes to numerology, I'll tie it into my birthday being the 30th, but the number 5 energy, which is today's energy add up and reduce to the number 5. It's very similar energy, and it could have us all over the place. And it's important to recognize this. And that's what I loved about numerology and astrology, because it helped me to see myself in ways that nothing else could help me to see myself. And from seeing myself, I was able to take accountability and make changes in my life. So I knew by nature, it's natural for me to do things a certain way. And even though doing things a certain way, in some instances, it's beneficial and it adds value, but in other instances, it's problematic, it's chaotic, and it's hard for me to build anything because there's no security or stability. And from numerology and astrology and becoming aware of my weaknesses, I was able to implement different things in place in order to keep myself in line so that my weaknesses don't turn into my biggest enemy fighting against me. And my strengths, I could lean into those more. So it's like, for me, like I always say, you know, it's important to become aware of your weaknesses so no one could use them against you. Become aware of your weaknesses so no one could use them against you. Become aware of your strength so you're unstoppable. And that's why self-awareness is a superpower. So when it comes to today's energy, it's important to be aware of your time and how you're spending it, because it's so easy to find yourself leaving the house and saying, I have plans to get this, and that done. And then something happens and certain emotions hit you because of certain things, but you don't even notice that they hit you because you didn't even allow yourself to feel them. Instead, all of a sudden, you have the bright idea to go and, you know, let me go and have a drink, or let me go and, you know, go to happy hour. Let me go do this or the next. And it's like all of a sudden there's this drive or this craving to have this thing or to have this experience, go here, do that, do this. And really we might feel like, well, it's just Friday and I want to treat myself. But I find that a lot of the times we have certain things like, what do I call it? It's like certain rewards or treatments. We'll call certain thing a reward or a treatment, but it's not even a reward because we'll do it all the time anyways. And in some cases, it's really just an addiction justified as a reward, even when we did nothing to deserve that reward. And a lot of the time, some of our rewards are very destructive. And a destructive reward to me is, I think of like, say, oh, because it's Friday, you know, I'm going to go out and I'm going to celebrate this rough work week, and then go out and then drink so much to where you spend the next 3-4 days recovering, the next 2-3-4 days recovering, depending on how old you are and how your body can handle it. And then before you know it, you're back at work and you're exhausted because of how you rewarded yourself. and then Friday come and you do it all over again and it's stuck in this cycle, feel awful, don't know why you feel awful. And it's because of not facing oneself, having a hard time facing oneself. And I feel like when it comes to today's energy, big emphasis on that. And when I look at the energies in the day, you know, I look at how, say, on the ascendant, we have Gemini. So Mercury has big emphasis within the chart. And with Jupiter in Gemini, Jupiter energy amplifies Gemini type things. Jupiter is no longer in retrograde. And though that might bring a level of relief to a certain extent, because its heaviness it's not as heavy. Where in retrograde, to me, Jupiter in retrograde for me, it's like having someone like nailing down giving you too much context that you don't want for whatever reason. But I feel like those of us who practice alchemy, learning how to work the energy and not afraid of hard work or running from doing the work, would utilize the different energies that come up when the planets are transiting. Because for me, with Jupiter in retrograde, with the context that it brought, it helped me to recognize truths in a lot of different areas of my life. And from recognizing that truth, from getting so much context, I was able to make positive changes in my world from that. So now that Jupiter is direct, all that context isn't there anymore. Instead, it's just big focus on Gemini type things. And this energy could be a bit distracting because Gemini energy is that curious, monkey mind type energy where our attention is here, it's there, it's everywhere, it's all over the place. We're curious about everything and absolutely nothing at all. Gemini energy, powerful communication energy, but also trickster energy. And with Mercury in Pisces, I think of how easy it is, you know, for some of us to find ourselves in situations where we fill in a lot of the blank and find ourselves in certain situations where it's just not in our favor because we didn't read the fine print, or we didn't read any print. We just gave the benefit of the doubt in a situation opposed to seeing it for what it is. So while Jupiter was in retrograde, I hope you were able to get a lot of context on certain areas of your life, enough to make the proper change and transformation so you could experience the kind of peace that you say you want to have. I think about when it comes to manifestation, how we'll say we want certain things. And a lot of the times, in order to have certain things, we have to shift our frequency in order to align with the things that we want. And different things that appear to be challenges will come in to help to give us context so that we could gain new perspective. And from new perspective, thinking a different way, you feel a different way, you create a different reality. A lot of the times, you know, these transits and things happen and some of us run from them, or we go into hibernation mode. And hibernation mode could look like, you know, the transit come in and all of a sudden you're smoking again, you're drinking again, or you're binge watching certain shows and you're just not participating in life. You checked out. And from checking out, you're missing out on the opportunity to get to new levels within yourself. So for me, it's always important to challenge ourselves to be present. Yes, you know, escapism is a part of life to a certain extent, but it's all about, for me, it's all about finding, it's like comfort foods. It's like finding healthy comforts. It's like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, with life, you go through certain times when things get challenging and you need the comfort. What are healthy comforts? Like, what are healthy ways of escape, where it's like, I don't escape, but then find myself in a really bad situation because of this way of escaping. It's like the example that I gave about rewarding oneself after a busy week, and the form of reward kind of is pretty much ruining a person's life and their health. Let's pause for a bit. I am proud of the services that I offer and excited to tell you about them. If it would be your first time booking with me, then I recommend the natal chart and numerology awareness coaching session. For a while, that was the only service I offered, along with the 30 minutes tarot reading, which is still available if you're interested. I noticed the pattern. At the end of the natal chart and numerology coaching sessions, some of you would ask me for a follow-up service options for additional clarity and guidance to assist you with whatever you're going through at the moment. I kept saying, I'll look into it. I don't know why it took me so long. Finally, I have created that option along with the service option to book a solar return chart reading for those of you who are strategic and like to plan ahead. Everything you need to know is within the description box below. Let's get back into the video. So with the tarot, we have the Two of Pentacles and it came out in the reversal position. And with the Two of Pentacles in the reversal position, it brings me to having to put something down because you can't juggle both. It's like coming to the realization today that I can't keep doing both. I can't keep doing this. I have to focus on one thing at a time. And I feel like that might be some of the benefits when it comes to today's energy, forcing us to focus on one thing at a time, helping us to realize that I can't keep spreading my energy thin and focusing on so many different things at a time. And sometimes I find that focusing on multiple different things at a time could also be a form of escapism because it's so hard to face or deal with what's in front of us. So, you know, we're doing this and we're doing that and we're doing this and we're doing that and everything but to feel whatever it is that we're feeling. So today's a good day to ask yourself, like if you find yourself multitasking, focusing on a bunch of different things at once, trying to do a bunch of different things at once, or all of a sudden you feel this strong urge to treat yourself to something, or you're craving something, and something that you're craving isn't something that you know is not the best thing for you, it's a good opportunity to ask yourself, what is it that I'm feeling that I don't want to feel? And that's a great opportunity to bust the journal out and write about it. What is it that I'm feeling that I don't want to feel? What is it that I'm feeling that I don't want to feel? I feel like that's a good question for us to ask ourselves today. What is it that I'm feeling that I don't want to feel? Because when it comes to today's energy is one where it's so easy to find yourself in places, wake up in places, you know, tomorrow, Saturday, wake up in places because of yesterday's actions or today's actions, you know, because of today's actions and avoiding certain things. Tomorrow you wake up in places or wake up and it's like, damn, yesterday, what did I do yesterday? It's like, I think of, what is that movie called with the guys that go to Vegas because one of them's getting married and they go to Vegas for the bachelor party type vibe. And there's even one guy with a baby and I think Mike Tyson is in it. It's a mess. It's funny. It's a trip, but to me, today's energy could be that kind of vibe. Of course, it's not going to be on that level of extreme for most, but it's that kind of vibe where it's like, okay, we're going to go to Vegas and just have a good time and celebrate. And all of a sudden tomorrow they wake up and it's like, what happened? I was doing what? I was where? What was going on? I feel like that's the extreme of not allowing ourselves to feel our feelings. And especially with, say, you know, Jupiter energy playing a big emphasis in Gemini and Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is in Pisces. So for whatever reason, the mind is in a place of escapism. It's not seeing everything for whatever reason. And the moon is in Sagittarius. Our inner world doesn't want to feel everything for whatever reason. And Venus, the ruler of today's energy, is in Aries, where yes, we value ourselves, but it conjuncts Chiron. So we value ourselves and it's like we're crying in our beer because certain things are coming up around certain wounds, around our ambition, our identity, and how we're seen. And all these things are coming up and we're not trying to feel it. So instead you could find yourself super busy, but busy out of the sake of not feeling or dealing with something that's happening on the inside. So it's like running from the inside and, you know, busy with a whole bunch of nothingness on the outside. It was a pleasure sharing this message with you. Before you go anywhere, please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a blue heart in the comment box below. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.